Roadrunner Rundown on Bakersfield.com and the CSUB Roadrunners Digital Network. Live from the Dignity Health Studios in downtown Bakersfield, California.
And welcome in once again to Roadrunner Rundown, the official program, CSUB Roadrunner Athletics. I'm Corey Costello. Thanks so much for joining us once again as we got another great edition of the program on tap for you. We're going to talk a lot as we are, CSUB I think is probably like one of the latest starting colleges in the country. And so we've got classes starting next week for our student athletes. So we're going to talk really a lot this week about what's coming up from both the academic side and even the community involvement side for student athletes this year. We've got Lauren Kaufman joining us on the program in the next segment. She is a senior swimmer on the women's swim team, but she's also the CSUB Student Athlete Advisory Committee president. So she will join us on the show. We'll talk about what to expect out of SAAC this year, some of the projects, some of the things that they're going to be doing to better the community and themselves. And of course, we're also going to be speaking at the bottom of the hour. Dena Freeman-Patton, who's our associate AD for academics. She's going to bring in a couple members of her academic staff. And you want to talk about an area that has just seen phenomenal growth over the last several years. It's been the academics and the academic success of student athletes at CSUB. Dena and her staff have come up with a really good plan to really help student athletes maybe at risk or even athletes that are coming into a college setting for the first time. So we'll talk with her coming up later on the program. Nadine Griffith, one of her academic advisors, is going to join us, as well as Melissa Bowen, who is the tutor coordinator at the Kegley Center for Student Success. So we'll chat with all them coming up at the bottom of the hour. And I think it's going to be really informative and just kind of show you some of the other stuff happening in the background of athletics. Obviously, you got to have student athletes eligible and successful to be able to compete, and these are some of the individuals responsible for that. So we'll chat with them coming up at the bottom of the hour. Then last segment of the program today, our Dignity Health Student Athlete Profile. Joe Masumiya, CSUB men's soccer, will be our feature this week, and Joe and the Roadrunners, of course, open the home portion of their schedule this Saturday night, taking on UC Davis at the main soccer field. Roadrunners out to a 3-0 start after winning 2 more this past weekend at UNLV. They will play once on Thursday at Riverside before their home opener on Saturday at the main soccer field, 7 p.m. Get your tickets now. $10 for adults, $5 for kids and seniors. All right, it's time to get to, by the way, and Corey Versus returns this week as well. We'll get to that in just a few minutes. It's been on hiatus, but it's back because we have students on campus again and practicing and playing games, so it's time for me to play games as well. So that's coming up on the program today too. All right, time to get to the highlights. We will start with CSUB women's soccer, the only home event this past week. Runners in Northern Iowa, Bakersfield pressuring early, a couple close shots early on in this one, as here's another one coming up from Hedda Regafalk, Elena Morrison. Meanwhile, for the Roadrunners, right here, going to create a nice bender, but it's going to be stopped by Northern Iowa keeper Whitney Blunt, one of her 3 saves. Scoreless until the 43rd minute. As this will set up eventually, we got a penalty coming up, so it's going to set up a corner kick here for Bakersfield. And normally in these situations, you like to try to pass to somebody, or direct kick, excuse me. And Taylor French, nah, I'll just do it myself. Top corner for French as she nets one from way out, and Bakersfield has a 1-0 lead going into the half. Second half, though, Northern Iowa, well, they're fixing to get the equalizer. It's deflected around to Caitlin Fuller, and she gets the tying goal here. It's 1-1 in the 63rd minute. Things going to get a little bit chippy moving forward. One player especially, Charlotte Jones, you will see her come into the picture right now. She's going to slide into keeper Tori Ornelius right there. Can't do that. That's not allowed. She kind of loses her mind right here, too. Temper tantrums never help, young lady, and that's just going to equal nothing but, yeah, a yellow card. It's not going to solve anything. A couple minutes later, not 3 minutes later, that's not very ladylike either. She's going to pull down an attacker. Yeah, and right in front of the referee, too. Always bad. That's going to earn you another yellow. Well, some tears as well. Are you crying? There's no crying. And she's going to receive the obligatory second yellow, which turns into red. So now Northern Iowa, one player down, 12 minutes to play, still pressuring in overtime despite one down. There's Ornelius with the save for the Roadrunners. Last-ditch effort coming up here for Northern Iowa. Runners have lost this way before, not this time. Ornelius puts a stop to that. 1-1 draw in double overtime. Here's head coach Gary Kerneen.
Well, obviously, I would have loved to have the win. But I can't fault the girls for effort, commitment, work rate. I think there was, we're still making strides in those areas. I thought we could have put the game to bed in the first 10 minutes of the second half, and we kept them in the game. And to their credit, they came back and made it a real exciting game.
So the Roadrunners with the 1-1 tie against Northern Iowa in double overtime on Friday night as Bakersfield records their first draw of the season. And then on Sunday, Runners stepping it up a bit in competition against number 23, Long Beach State. The Runners losing that one 2-0. Let's look at a few other scores from around the Western Athletic Conference women's soccer on Sunday. It was Missouri, Kansas City, and SIU Edwardsville playing to a 1-1 draw. Nebraska, Omaha, meanwhile, all over New Mexico State, 6-2. Upcoming for the Roadrunners, women's soccer will be on the road as Bakersfield will go to UC Riverside on Friday night at 7 o'clock. Then they will go over to UC Santa Barbara on Sunday and play at 6 p.m. On to men's soccer, it was a very good weekend for the Roadrunners yet again at the UNLV tournament. Bakersfield a perfect 2-0. First, the Roadrunners dismantling Howard on Friday. The Runners, get this, they scored 3 goals in a 1 minute and 38-second span. Now, according to the very smart research and development team at CSUB, which consists of Sports Information Director Matt Turk, who finds these things, that was the 8th fastest in the history of Division I that 3 goals have been scored. So there you have it, 5-0. Bakersfield goes on to beat Howard. Again, a frantic stretch of 3 goals in a minute 38, and Julian Zamora had a pair of goals in the win. Then on Sunday, the Runners didn't let up. They keep it rolling. 2 more goals from Zamora and a penalty kick goal from Lucas Del Orso as CSUB beat, get this one, Indiana, Purdue, Fort Wayne, just in case you're wondering what that means. And Bakersfield beat IPFW 3-0. Nick Clever with another good day in goal, by the way, recording his 3rd shutout of the season. The Roadrunners have yet to allow a goal as they improved to 3-0 on the year. So wins over San Diego State. Also, IPFW and Howard haven't allowed a goal quite yet. Upcoming for the Roadrunners, as we mentioned, they will be at UC Riverside on Thursday at 7 o'clock, and then they will be home Saturday night, 7 o'clock at the main soccer field as they host UC Davis in the home opener. Make sure you join us out there for that one on Saturday night. Check out a very good men's soccer squad. Here's what's happening around the Western Athletic Conference on Sunday. Air Force and Army continue. Well, the Air Force continues to tie the other service organizations as they lose, or as they tie this one 0-0 with Army. Also, we had Oral Roberts beating affiliate member Infinite Word 2-1. Loyola Chicago beating Utah Valley 1-0 as well, while UNLV at their tournament, they also went 2-0 in the tournament. They beat Howard 4-0. On to volleyball as they were on the road once again. The Flyer Raider Invitational in Ohio. Talk about a busy weekend for Bakersfield. They played 4 games in 2 days. Here's how it went. Losing to IPFW, who we explained earlier is Indiana, Purdue, Fort Wayne, 3-0. Close games throughout, 25-23, 25-23, and 24-21 losses. They were right there in each of the games. Runners led late in all 3. Louisa Martins with 29 assists in the match. In the nightcap Friday, Bakersfield fell 3-1 to Bowling Green. CSUB was led by Kelsey Sawyer, who had 16 kills and 9 digs in that one. Then on to Saturday, more losses for Bakersfield. The Runners took a set. By the way, nobody took a set. Nebraska rolled through this tournament. Nobody took a set from the Cornhuskers all weekend long except the Roadrunners. They took a set from number 12 ranked Nebraska, by the way, but they fell 3-1. Molly O'Hagan with 11 kills in the match. Then in the late game, CSUB fell to host Dayton as well, 3-1 in the final game of that tournament. Runners losing 3-1 there. So a couple good games for Bakersfield. They will be at the Cal Poly tournament this weekend before opening next weekend at the Icardo Center. So you have it. That's what was happening this past weekend. And don't forget, home event this Saturday night. Men's soccer will host UC Davis for the home opener, 7 o'clock at the main soccer field. All right, I promised that it would be returning, and in fact, it will. It's time to get to our latest installment and pretty much the first installment of season number 2 of Roadrunner Rundown of Corey Versus. This time I went out and played a little crossbar challenge with the women's soccer team. Okay, here on Corey Versus, and we're back out at the main soccer field, and I'm here with Tori and Vendela. Now we're gonna be trying to basically just hit the crossbar, right? Is that the whole name of this game?
Yeah.
So this is this is like, from a soccer standpoint, this is like a super skill, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Now you're a goalkeeper though, but you.
I can still do it. Don't count me out because I'm a goalkeeper.
Okay. Oh, I'm just thinking they gave me the goalkeeper because they wanted me to win. So we're gonna, and this is Tori's second appearance because last year I think I almost took you in the goal penalty shots.
Yeah, but you didn't score.
I didn't. I didn't. I almost. So all right, here we go. Let's. We're just gonna try. The first one who hits the crossbar wins. Is that kind of how this is gonna go?
Yeah, we could do it that way. Or.
All right, we'll see how many we actually hit, and then if we hit a few, we'll go best 3 out of 5. If we only hit one, then we'll go first one. So here we go. So Vendela and Tori will give it a go. Tori going first and hitting the net support. Did you get anything for hitting the support? No? That doesn't count? Vendela is second, and she just barely misses. My turn. Better stretch first. This is it. Here we go. I'm going to drill it. Well, that didn't help. We could be here all day. The ladies tee up their next shot, and Vendela takes the early lead. Nicely done. Tori, close, but some people should stay being goalkeepers. Me, I'm just attracted to the net. I can't help it.
I'm in the neighborhood.
Tori again, her best shot yet. Maybe a goalkeeper can do it. Vendela buzzes the tower as well, almost wins it. Me, well, again, closer to the post than the crossbar.
Any points for that?
Then it's Vendela with the dagger.
Not even funny.
2 out of her first 4 shots. Amazing.
Tori, give it another shot.
Tori and I finished it out. She gets close again.
Oh. All right, last one.
Me, I'm just trying to hit something. I hit the net again, but that's not the name of the game. Vendela with a little victory juggle, and she takes this Corey Versus.
Domination.
What can you do? Some people are just natural goal scorers like me. Hitting the post just isn't in my DNA. Like, for real, I mean, I can score goals. I'm just wired that way. I'm just wired to score goals. Hitting the post, you know, I'm just wired to find the net. That's just how I am. Thanks to Vendela and Tori for entertaining me with that latest Corey Versus. All right, we're going to step away and take a break. When we come back, Lauren Kaufman's going to join us, our CSUB Student Athlete Advisory Council President. We'll chat with her about what's coming up in SAAC for 2014-15 and much, much more. We'll talk some women's swimming with her as well. Stick around. We'll be back. It's Roadrunner Rundown. And we are back here on Roadrunner Rundown. Thanks so much for joining us. Still to come on the program, we'll talk some academics with Dena Freeman-Patton, also Nadine Griffith, and Melissa Bowen in studio, kind of part of the academic support staff with CSUB Athletics. We'll talk about the upcoming year and sort of some of the goals and initiatives from the academic side for student athletes. But, you know, one of the other things that keeps student athletes involved at CSUB within the community and on campus is a Student Athlete Advisory Committee. And we happen to have the president of CSUB SAAC joining us in studio, Lauren Kaufman, a senior for CSUB Swimming. And Lauren, welcome to the show. How you been?
I'm good, thanks.
How was the summer?
It was good. I stayed in Bakersfield, so
Okay, a little workout in the pool, kind of kept going.
kept in shape. Yeah.
Nice, nice. Now, first of all, congratulations on being the SAAC president for 2014-15. Excited about that.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
What kind of things? I mean, I know you've been involved with it the last couple of years. So what sort of made you say, all right, I want to take that next step and sort of lead this charge?
Well, the past couple of years, I've been working really closely with Dalton and Dane, who were the two previous SAAC presidents, and I went to the WAC SAAC last year, and it just kind of got me inspired to like take charge and like lead our SAAC into a really cool direction.
And let's talk about just sort of the basics of the Student Athlete Advisory Committee. What is it that for most people listening, watching, they're going, okay, what do you do? So what does SAAC do on campus and within the community with student athletes?
Well, it's basically to ensure the well-being of student athletes. So we'll have meetings, and we kind of want to get people involved and focus on life after athletics too. So we'll host events to help student athletes. Like, we'll support each other at sporting events. If there's an issue around campus or something that people don't like about their facilities, say, they'll bring it up at a SAAC meeting, and we can go to the athletic department and say, this is what the student athletes are feeling. Here it is. And so we're just kind of the voice between the athletic department and the student athletes.
And there's sort of obviously there's a council of officers, but then each team also has a representative, correct?
Right. So there's like, I think 4 exec members, and then every team has 2 people come sit in on meetings, and more people are totally welcome to come, but we like to have 2 solid people at every meeting.
Awesome. And then there's a lot of, along with some events, I know there's some sort of community service-based things throughout the year, toy drives, stuff like that.
Yeah, the SAAC does a lot of community service. We work with the WAC SAAC to get community service ideas, and then we host a toy drive, and we do running for Ronald events, and we just kind of bring ideas to the teams that they can do to get community service hours.
What are some of the things, like kind of looking ahead for 2014-15? I know the year, it doesn't officially start for another week or so, but what are some of the things maybe that you're thinking about for this upcoming year for SAAC on campus?
Well, I really want to get SAAC more involved. Going to the conference in Denver, I learned that student athletes have a way bigger voice than we even know we have. And so I really want people to start to understand that we have a presence on campus and we have a presence in the community, and we can really start to change things and make things better for ourselves. So I just want people to get really excited this year and know who we are and know what we're doing and do more community service, go to more games, and just be more involved.
Absolutely. Now, it looks like you brought up a couple times the Western Athletic Conference has their own SAAC that is made up of different members throughout the conference, and you got a chance to kind of go to those meetings in Denver. So you learned a little bit there. What other? And I know the big thing is really that I was impressed with last year, being in our first year in the conference, was at the men's basketball tournament. How much was done in the city of Las Vegas around the men's basketball tournament by the Student Athlete Advisory Committee from the WAC?
Yeah, last year we worked with the Boys and Girls Club. And so that was our kind of community service project. And we wanted to get them involved and just reach out to the youth and see, like, show them you can do this. Like, you can go to college. There's tons of opportunity. And so this year we're planning on working with the school district in Vegas and maybe the YMCA to they support us and we support them, kind of thing.
Absolutely. And Lauren Kaufman in studio, senior swimmer, CSUB, but also the president of the Student Athlete Advisory Committee. So you have, now I know we have a big home opener on Saturday night. Is there a big plan to have SAAC people at men's soccer this Saturday?
Well, so far I was thinking we have plenty of ideas to get people out this year, but since nobody's here we haven't had a SAAC meeting yet, so we haven't really got a chance to plan anything.
All right, excellent. And how often do you guys normally meet throughout the year, stuff like that?
We meet once a month.
Okay.
On Fridays.
Nice. As we look forward to this year, what have you learned, I guess, being involved in SAAC the last couple of years? How has that maybe helped you just in leadership in general? You talked about the fact that this is sort of focused on life after college, although a lot of the regular issues are being a student athlete, but a lot of it's focused on leadership after college. How much have you kind of learned in that realm?
I feel like I've learned a lot. Going to the conferences, they've always had speakers come and talk to us about being leaders. So that was a great experience, like learning from everyone and hearing all this stuff on how to be a great leader. I've got to learn how to plan a lot of things. You meet so many people. Like, I never knew I could meet this many people. And so I've made a lot of connections that I think are really going to help me. So I strongly encourage all student athletes to get really involved with SAAC because it opens up so many doors, so many opportunities.
And part of the conference stuff too. I mean, what I've kind of noticed in just my travels and coming across a lot of different people from the different institutions in the conference, there is such a main idea exchange. I mean, because you end up talking to people about things they're doing at their campus. I mean, is it the same way for SAAC? I mean, I get a lot of ideas, seeing things, talking to other people, what works, what doesn't work. Is it the same thing with SAAC when you get a chance to go to these meetings, go to the men's basketball or women's basketball tournament, work with them? Do you kind of get ideas of what works and doesn't work on various campuses?
Yeah. At our meetings in Denver, we all exchange what worked for our SAAC and what we're having problems with. So we all just kind of spin ideas off each other. And so if I was having a problem at a similar school, but like say another school had a solution, they would share that with us. Or they would give us great ideas. Like I walked away with so many ideas to earn money for the toy drive this year.
Okay, good.
That other schools do, and I think we should definitely bring to the Bakersfield community. It'd be so fun, and I think people around town would love them, and our student athletes would love them. Awesome.
No, it's a great idea exchange. I mean, just casually when you come across people on the road or different big events for the conference, always a great exchange of ideas. Let's transition to the pool here briefly. And you're going to be your third season in CSUB, your fourth and final season as a competitor. You were at TCU as a freshman, and then in Bakersfield for 3 years now. What's kind of the goal for you as your senior? You had a good year last year. I mean, earned second team all conference at the WAC championship, fifth place in the 50 free. So, what are some of your goals for this year? In the pool.
Definitely this year, my goal is to go best time. I haven't since my senior year of high school, and last year was the closest I've been. So I really, really want to finish my career with a PR.
It looks like this, and you were kind of a part of the very beginning. I know Chris Hansen was really working in 2012 on kind of building his women's swimming and diving program. You were kind of that first class. You were one of those transfers that he brought in to kind of help do that. Here we are a few years later, really good year last year. I mean, what do you think about sort of the transition of your program to where it is now?
I look back, and I can't even believe it was almost 2 years ago. Oh, so much has changed. It's an amazing program. When we first got here, there was a lot of rifts, like what's going on. We're all so new. And we've really all just grown together and learned to work together. And our team is amazing. And I think we're going to do so great this year.
I was going to say, you have a lot of returners that had very fast times, if not won WAC championships last year. So you have to kind of like your chances. I mean, the conference is tough, but you have to really like your chances this year.
Oh, definitely. We have some strong girls, and now that a lot of them are upperclassmen, so they've learned, they got their experience under their belt, and I think they're ready to show and prove the WAC that we're going to be top 3.
And even on the men's side, I mean, it seems like you talked about really both the programs kind of run hand in hand. So you guys train together, you work together a lot. So, I mean, even on the men's side this year, I know last year was kind of a rebuilding year for them, but you look at the men's team, it seems like they're going to have a promising year.
Oh, definitely. I know we have so many new men. We walked on the deck the first day back, and I was like, who are all these people? Like, this is great. And they're all like seem really happy, and they really like each other, and I think it's going to be a good year for them too.
Awesome. Well, I know SAAC hasn't met yet, so their possibility, obviously, you couldn't organize an event for Saturday night, but is there a shot that the swimming program will be there Saturday night, and of course, loud as ever?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Our coach already talked to us. We all want to be there. We want to support the men's team, and I think it'll be really fun.
There you go. And so come out men's soccer, and then obviously most of the shenanigans in the stands most of the time are led by the swimming program.
They are. We'll try to keep it good.
No, yeah, exactly. Keep it going. I'm not scolding you at all. It's awesome. All right, Lauren. Well, thanks for joining us. Have a great year, and if there's anything throughout the year with SAAC that you want our help with, and we can bring it on the program, we'll definitely help you out and do that.
Yeah, definitely follow WAC SAAC on Twitter because I'm the social media person for that. So
nice. Yeah, public relations major. So
Yeah.
that's it's a good start right there.
Definitely.
So, all right, thanks, Lauren. We'll talk
Thank
again
you.
soon. All right, Lauren Kaufman here on Roadrunner Rundown. When we come back, we're going to talk academics. Dena Freeman-Patton joins us, Nadine Griffith and Melissa Bowen, all in studio. They're kind of on the smart side of the operation. We'll talk about what their plans are for student-athlete success in 2014-15. Back after this, it's Roadrunner Rundown. Welcome back to Roadrunner Rundown. My thanks to Lauren Kaufman joining us in the last segment of the program. And again, she is the president, CSUB SAAC, and then also kind of in charge of WAC SAAC on Twitter. You can check that out too and see what the Student Athlete Advisory Committee is up to, both from the CSUB standpoint and at the conference level. A lot of good things happening there. Now, of course, the student athletes like Lauren have a lot of support as classes get ready to start from these ladies that are joining us in studio and a few other staff members that aren't here, but this to my left immediately is Dena Freeman-Patton. She's our Associate AD for Academics. Melissa Bowen, who is a tutoring coordinator, and Nadine Griffith, who is an academic advisor. So, ladies, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Now, this is the exciting time of year for you because you finally get some students back, right? So,
Yes.
obviously, first of all, just tell me how crazy maybe the first week of classes are, because everybody needs something, wants something. I mean, how is it? Is it kind of like a hectic week for you?
It's probably the craziest week of the school year. It is. But it's just getting everybody settled, organized in their classes, because some students may go to a class and not like it and need to switch a class, and we're trying to get them set up just for the year. It's more planning, but they're all rushing in at the same time and coming back from the summer break.
And then that kind of flows to Nadine's area, where as an academic advisor, they're saying, I hate this class, I want to go somewhere else. So you have to kind of sit down with their kind of game plan, right?
Yeah, so it's a little bit late in the summer for someone to want to make changes to their schedule. I just looked this morning, and there's maybe 5 or 6 lower division gen ed classes that are open. So during the first week of class, there's a lot of shuffling around, so some classes do open up. But in general, we put those students in those classes for a reason, because it fits well with their practice and travel schedule. And sometimes we just have to sit down with them and be honest about, why they're taking this class. And we have tutoring support available, so if they feel it's going to be a tough quarter, we'll provide the support they need to be successful.
I was going to say, and then if you tell them, no, you can't get out of this class, you need to stay in this class, but I can get you help, then it falls into Melissa's area, which is the tutoring coordinator. So kind of what sort of role are you kind of serving as the year starts, and then throughout the quarter?
A lot of what I do at the beginning of the quarter is selling them on the program, because they already don't want to go to the class. So now I have to convince them why it benefits them to come to tutoring. So there's a lot of selling involved. There's a lot of pitches involved, which my background in sales experience actually helps that.
Good.
So yeah, the first week of class is a lot of negotiating.
A lot of give and take, right, in the first week of class. Well, and so, but it's not just. I mean, it's not just this. And the reason why, a good reason I want to have you on the program was you kind of made a presentation last week to the staff about some of the things that you have working this year. And one of these was this program you're calling the REP, the Runner Excellence Program, and it is really, and there's different stages. There's the planning stages, there's tutoring, there's studies halls, life skills. Dena, just kind of give us an overview of this plan, this program for this year.
Well, we're unveiling the REP this year as a part of the Kegley Center for Student Success. It's comprehensive. Like you said, it includes advisement, it includes tutoring, it includes life skills, everything to help our student athletes to be successful for the year. We've changed our focus a little bit, and I'll let Melissa kind of talk about some of the things that we're doing to make it more individualized. A lot of the programs at universities that help student athletes are kind of one size fits all type thing. But we've decided, even though it's going to take a lot of work, to make sure that it's very individualized, and we take every student and look at what they need, not because of their GPA or not because of one thing, but looking at the whole picture and kind of determining what they need. And so these ladies, along with two of my other staff, Tiana Ware and Melissa Cruz, will be helping with our student athletes and just putting those plans together for each individual student. And one of the programs that we have within the REP program, and by the way, REP means representing yourself, and representing yourself as a runner appropriately for CSUB and for Bakersfield. And so within that program, we have one called the iRunner that help basically individualize runner plan.
Yeah, your little
it's the iRunner.
your goal
so
sheet,
we tried to
schedule and all that stuff.
make it a little trendy, but I'll let Melissa talk about how we come up with those things for the iRunner.
So typically with most other programs, and historically within our program, they typically look at the cumulative GPA. If a student falls underneath a certain GPA, they have to spend so many hours in our center.
Yeah.
And we realized very quickly that that was too simplistic. Our athletes are not just a grade, they're not just a letter grade or a GPA, they're much more than that. So we do look at their GPA, but we also look at things like their major. We look at things like whether or not they have English as a second or third or fourth language, whether or not they're an international student, whether or not they're a freshman or a transfer. And so we see what programs are going to fit best for them. It might help them just to spend a couple of hours in individual study hall. It might benefit them more to do a small group study where we have students and a tutor leading the group. It also might benefit them to do a one-on-one. And GPA is not necessarily the deciding factor. It's a combination of all of those factors. So that's what we try to focus on. And the iRunner, the I stands for individual, because each student athlete is an individual.
And, you know, we just had our university day yesterday, and we had a speaker come in from the University of Texas who really actually, and it's funny because I drew comparisons right away from what you guys had presented on the last Friday, and he's talking about, okay, every time a UT student comes in, we basically categorize them, and they have this percentage to graduate, and then his kind of objective is to work with the low percentages and get those up. It's kind of what you guys are sort of doing, right?
Yeah. It's exactly what we're doing. And I loved his presentation and his speech because he talked about, you know, not putting our students in certain categories, but helping them, and not, if we allow them into our university, it's our job to help them to graduate and to be successful in life. That's our job.
And the only person to ask a question in the presentation was Melissa, so I was pretty happy about that. I was like, yeah, the questions come from all these faculty, professors, get through this, and the question comes from academic advising within athletics. I mean, I loved it. Now, one of the things that you guys had brought up the other day was kind of some of your goals, and one of those is being no ineligible students throughout the year. So, Nadine, I know this falls as an advisor, someone who's on the road with teams that travel a lot. That's partially, you know, your area along with everyone else, but that's a lofty goal. But how do you sort of go about accomplishing that, or at least making it a very low percentage?
Obviously, to try and keep all of our student athletes eligible should be really the goal of any athletic department, because they're student athletes, so they're students first, but they're athletes second. And if they're not being a good student, they're not going to be able to be an athlete. They won't be allowed to compete, which, you know, kind of renders their being at CSUB moot. So a lot of it just involves our academic advising protocol, which is for all of our student athletes. Once they've declared a major, they go meet with their major advisor first. When it comes to advising, simply because the major advisors are the professionals within that major. So they know the course sequences, they know what the prerequisites are, they know if there are co-requisites. And so we defer to them because they're the ones who know the most about their particular major. And then they come back and meet with us, and we just review that everything fits with their practice and travel schedule. For example, if a team's going to be traveling Wednesday through Friday every 2 weeks, like basketball and men's soccer and women's soccer and volleyball do, we try to avoid having Friday classes simply because it's so hard to make up the work. A lot of our students struggle with that. They think, oh, I'll just get to it when I get back. But it's actually easier to try and get the work done up front, because when you get back the next week, there's a whole host of other things you have to be doing. And then we just keep track of them throughout the school year. If we notice that someone's possibly going to be behind, we plan for them to take either an additional class during the school year, or we arrange for them to try and take a summer class either at CSUB or at a community college, either in California or even out of state. to kind of help them get that percentage up and keep them eligible. So it's teamwork. You know, we all work together. We have athletic evaluators that help us stay on top of degree percentages, which is what the NCAA likes to keep track of. So it's kind of a team effort, and it's not just any one thing that we do. It's a combination of things that we try and keep track of, and hopefully, you know, we build a relationship with our student athletes so that they trust us to know that we're keeping them on track.
Yeah, and I know there's everyone's got a combination of things that they're dealing with, and Melissa, I know you're kind of big into this stuff. You talked about it before, but and it was brought up a little bit yesterday as far as you can't really categorize each student athlete in one thing. There's a lot of factors going in. I know you spoke out on that before. You've got the languages, you've got the socioeconomics, things like that. So how does that affect your job and kind of getting them the help that they need, you know, tutoring, you know, as a tutor coordinator?
One of the things that was a real challenge when I started, which I did this as a student assistant for 3 years before I came on board as a staff member, is gaining trust. Athletes are not quick to trust. Yeah. So that's the number one thing, is you have to build a relationship with them. Because there are some things that you're not even going to know until you start talking with them. Sometimes, you know, we have students that have come into our center for 2 quarters, and all of a sudden we find out that they actually have a learning disability that we can focus on and help them improve in their classes, but because there wasn't trust there, they didn't feel comfortable telling us that. So the number one thing is for us to build a relationship with them and for us to build a trust. So we can get to know them and we can learn about them. Knowing that a student came from a very poor town in Alabama is going to make a huge difference in how we look at their overall iRunner program. So that's just one example of some of the things that we consider.
And I know something that you guys had brought up in your entire just sort of presentation for the year was you get a lot of students that come in and they're cool with just being, I'm just going to get by. What do I need to be eligible? I'm going to get that plus 1/10 of a point on my GPA.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, your staff has put together a great program and all these steps to make sure that not only are they eligible, but that they succeed, they're successful, and they eventually graduate. So how tough is that kind of as a challenge to say, no, we're going to help you get even better than just the bare minimum?
It's a cultural change, but I think if we're able to build those relationships and actually help our student athletes to see the end goal, because just in my experience working with student athletes, if they see that they're going to graduate within this time frame, then they have a goal to work towards and they actually can see it. Obviously, my focus is not just graduation, it's beyond graduation. Yeah. And they can be okay and graduate, but then we want them to be able to be successful in their careers, to be able to get jobs, to be able to compete in this industry. And so we are asking a lot of them, and we're going to hold them accountable, and we're going to hold ourselves accountable in helping them. So it is going to be a culture change, but I'm looking forward to it, and I think our student athletes will rise to the challenge.
You know, another part of the program is life skills, and I know the NCAA has their kind of their life skills and how they do it, but it seems like, and what I've sort of learned is everybody who comes into contact with student athletes is a life skills person. Oh, yeah. I mean, I find myself just traveling on the road or something with a basketball team, and somebody doesn't want to do something, and I'm like, man, how are you going to get away with that in a job? Like, it's that kind, right? Is it kind of the same thing? Like, you all kind of feel like you're sort of help, even if you're just tutoring or you're just academic advising, it's all sort of life skills, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, little things like writing a professional email. A lot of our student athletes come in and, I mean, the emails they send to us, I write back and I say, I'm not going to respond to this till you write it to me in a nice way. Include your ID number, include your name. One of the things I told our golf teams and our soccer teams when we had our compliance meetings before the season started was get a professional email. Yeah. Soccer chick 27, it's not going to work. Like, you're a grown-up now. You're going to be applying for jobs someday. Go ahead and get yourself a first name dot last name email address. So it's little things like that they're focused in the now, and I understand that. I was a student athlete myself. Dena was a student athlete as well. We understand that you're focused on just getting through preseason. Yeah. You're just focused on getting through the next game. But it's our job to also help them realize that there is life after college, and we want to make sure that they're adequately prepared to be successful and be alumni for CSUB that are going to go out there and represent and be ambassadors for the program, for the university, and for the city as well.
And it's not just student athletes. It's really important that we don't pigeonhole student athletes.
Yeah.
I worked with all students before I came to the athletic program, and
the
it's
same
all
thing.
college students. They're all
Right.
the college students who aren't athletes are focused on sororities and fraternities and weekend parties or getting home or traveling for the summer. They're focused on the Easy A. So they're not necessarily focused on a career either. And that's one of the things that the speaker said yesterday as well, is we are raising young adults. I mean, it's a part of our job. So, yeah, we are all life skills coach.
Yeah, and I mean, I say that with even just students at CSUB 101, stuff like that, when I get a chance to talk with them, it's like, with their social media stuff, it's like, go get yourself a real username on Twitter. Like,
Exactly.
Big Playa 75 doesn't work anymore, Big
Nope.
Playa.
Nope.
You know, like, I mean,
Right.
you got to change, right?
Yeah.
I can't be retweeting that stuff on the athletics
Exactly.
account, that kind of
Exactly.
stuff. So, well, ladies, just a great job. I'm really impressed with this program. And I know the Kegley Center for Student Success is going to be absolutely jammed up next week as things get rolling. So good luck to you.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
we hope to continue to report, and we're definitely going to do a better job of reporting all the victories we have within academics within athletics, because I know I've been impressed. I mean, I remember years ago when I started just kind of working with the university, we didn't have this. I mean, these jobs, these people didn't exist, and it was on the coaches, and it was really tough. And I think people fell through the cracks, but I'm impressed how big this area has gotten. And so good luck to you, and we'll be in touch throughout the year.
Thank you.
All right. As we've got Dena Freeman-Patton and Melissa Bowen and Nadine Griffith on the program. Thanks so much. And when we come back, our student-athlete profile brought to you by Dignity Health. Joe Masumiya, we're going to chat with him. Men's soccer opens this weekend. We'll talk about his career as he begins his senior season with the Roadrunners. Back after this, it's Roadrunner Rundown. Welcome back to Roadrunner Rundown. Men's soccer opens up their home schedule this weekend against UC Davis, and we got a chance as part of this week's Dignity Health Student Athlete Profile to chat with one of their senior leaders, Joe Masumiya. Joe Masumiya has a slightly new role this season with CSUB men's soccer. The senior midfielder is expected to be a leader this year for head coach Richie Grant, and is excited about the start of the season.
We had a great result at San Diego, and just really looking forward to keep pushing it on.
The Lakewood, California native is a quiet guy. Meeting leadership takes on a new model when Joe is in charge.
Yeah, just kind of like on the field, just leading my teammates, picking up the plays, when we're getting kind of scrappy, calming things down. And, really just trying to, influence the younger players, trying to help them out as much as I can. I kind of like to do the things I like to see the younger guys do, and hopefully they'll, follow what I'm doing.
Masumiya's final goal with the Roadrunners will be with an experienced squad, returning several pieces from last season's WAC runner-up finishers.
I'm very optimistic about this group. We're returning, 5 seniors that started last year for us, so a lot of experience, a couple of juniors in there. So really good core, and we brought in some new pieces, like you said, and so I'm really excited about this season.
Masumiya's role on the field continues to be of a defensive mentality, and that's something under new head coach Richie Grant that keeps him busy.
Yeah, it's very important when you're up, as we were at San Diego. We had to manage the game, so we had to pay more attention to our defensive shape instead of trying to attack, because we just had to hold on to the 1-0 lead.
But what's driving Masumiya is a return to the NCAA tournament, something he was a part of as a freshman in 2011.
I didn't realize the importance of the game until the next year. I didn't see what the NCAA meant at that time, so it was really like, it was a great experience. Starting the game in front of a huge crowd, but at the time, I didn't realize the importance of the game.
3 years later, he understands how tough it is to get there and wants to go back.
I realize now the journey it takes to get to that stage. So. We're hoping to do that this season as well. Definitely not easy, but, we're going to put the work in this season and try to get back there.
Masumiya came to Bakersfield from Lakewood after a stellar prep and club career, which laid the foundation for his college success.
I didn't play academy as most of my teammates did, so I played club and high school. But yeah, club was a good experience. Played in the Co-Soccer League. We played in the Premier, you know, with the group of guys that we started since we were like 13 all the way up to, what, was 17. So we, that club team became very close, almost like a family, because we spent so much time together and played so many games together. High school's kind of more like messing around with your buddies. Wasn't as intense as club was, but, you know, it was a good experience.
Joe was a multiple sport athlete growing up, but soccer seemed to be the one that stuck the most.
Started when I would say around 5, LWSO, you know. Played some basketball, baseball, but soccer's really been the one that, you know, I liked the most. When I was like 10, I remember our basketball coach, because me and my best friend played on the same basketball and soccer team, and he always would relate basketball stuff to like stuff we do in soccer, like, so that's like, you know, he knew like my heart was in soccer, and, you know, I realized that soccer is the sport I wanted to play.
After he chose soccer and then chose CSUB, the changes from the club and high school level were apparent right away.
It was a big jump. You know, I think one thing is the speed of play. It's a lot faster in college. You know, when you get the ball, you don't really have as much time as you did in high school and club. And also the physicality. You know, I had to pack a little bit more muscle on me. You know, so that was like another adjustment I had to make.
Masumiya's best memory remains the NCAA tournament berth in 2011, and he desires to return.
Like I said, I didn't realize the importance at the time, but that was, looking back, that's a very fond memory. I think the nerves got to us a little bit. You know, the stands were packed. I think that was the most people we ever played it in front of, so that, I guess the nerves had a little impact on that game too.
But that wasn't the last big stage for this program. Masumiya knows he could see a similar situation on October 4th when his former coach Simon Tobin brings San Jose State to town for a nationally televised game. Joe Masumiya.
Like I said, I didn't realize against him this time, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that game.
Masumiya claims the factors surrounding October 4th can't be a distraction. The game must be played the correct way.
When you're on the field and you're just playing with your teammates, it's like any other game. So it's kind of just like, you know, when the whistle blows, it's like kind of normal. It's always nice to play at home. You know, my family usually comes up, watches the game, and yeah, it's a great environment. I love playing the main soccer field.
Joe and the Roadrunners open at home Saturday night against UC Davis at 7 p.m. at the main soccer field. There you go, Joe Masumiya and our Dignity Health student athlete profile. And Joe and the Roadrunners, 7 o'clock Saturday night at the main soccer field. 3-0 right now, hopefully 4-0 going to the opener. They've got a game against at UC Riverside on Thursday. But again, tickets $10 on Saturday night, $5 for kids and seniors. Hey, thanks so much for joining us. You can get previous editions of this program and this program, too, online anytime at GoRunners.com. Check out all previous editions of the program as well. Make sure you're following us on Twitter and Instagram at CSUB Athletics, on Facebook as well, Facebook.com/CSUB Roadrunners. And, of course, keep up with all your Roadrunners. Even get your Roadrunner schedules put right into your phones, your tablets, whatever, via the eCal feature available right now on GoRunners.com. Next week, we're live on campus. More details to come. It's Roadrunner Rundown.